President Trump breaking his silence on the anniversary of those violent protests, and he did so on Twitter.
Yeah, it's become par for the course. We have a lot of news out of Washington in what some are calling a stark contrast to his initial response to Charlottesville. The president is now condemning all racism and acts of violence. ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri is in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, near the president's golf club with the latest. Tara, good morning.
Good morning, guys. President Trump invited the press to his golf club yesterday for an event with supporters, but instead of further condemning the rallies, he called his former staffer a lowlife. This morning, President Trump calling for unity as demonstrators prepare to gather near the White House. The president tweeting Saturday he's fighting for all races, saying, "The riots in Charlottesville a year ago resulted in senseless death and division. We must come together as a nation. I condemn all types of racism and acts of violence." This, a sharper tone from last year, when many criticized him for not calling out violent white nationalists in clashes with counter-protesters, saying,
"Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides."
The president keeping his distance from today's rallies, spending the weekend hundreds of miles away with supporters at his Bedminster resort in New Jersey.
We want to thank you for being here.
Where he also responded directly for the first time to his former advisor, Omarosa Monagle-Newman, who calls him a racist in her new book.
Lowlife. She's a lowlife.
The former reality show villain,
Omarosa has to go. You're fired.
Rose up to be the highest-ranking African-American in the White House, only to be fired late last year. Asked by TMZ if the president's attacks on athletes are causing tensions with the black community.
He wants to start a race war. Succeeding.
Would you say the president is a racist right now? Is it fair to say?
Absolutely.
According to the Washington Post, which has an advanced copy of her book titled Unhinged, Monagle-Newman claims that Trump is a, quote, racist, bigot, and misogynist. The White House bashing her book, calling it riddled with lies and false accusations. We may not see the president again this weekend as he has no more events on his public schedule. Tomorrow he heads to Fort Drum in upstate New York to sign the annual defense bill, this year named after Senator John McCain. Paula?
All right, Tara, thank you. For more on this, let's bring in ABC's chief White House correspondent, John Carl, who's hosting this week a little bit later this morning. So, John, we're a year removed from Charlottesville. Are expecting a white civil rights march there in D.C. where you are. The president's taken a much different tone, tweeting that he condemns all types of racism and, quote, we must come together as a nation. So what is his role in this actually happening?
In terms of coming together as a nation, it's not a successful one at this point. We had a recent poll by the Quinnipiac organization say that just about a third of the country approves of the president's approach towards race relations. And Paula, among African Americans, only 3% approve of the president's actions.
And can we talk about Omarosa, who the president just called a lowlife? Considering she's already changed her story, John, how damaging could this book be? Or do you expect people to presume that she's just a disgruntled employee with an axe to grind?
Well, she has serious credibility problems. I mean, she told us just last December that the president is absolutely not a racist, that she would never have worked for a racist. So she's not exactly the most credible critic here. But the thing is, Paula, she was the president's most high-profile, prominent, senior African-American on his White House staff. And for that reason, she can't be ignored.
Yeah, you've got Michael Avenatti on the show, who's become an unlikely hero on the left. So this week he was doing the rounds as he's considering a presidential run. And John, you heard him say, quote, when they go low, we hit harder. So do Democrats really feel that he could be their guy? Could we see a Trump-Avenatti joust?
What, you mean a candidate with no political experience and a checkered past?
Yeah,
Come on.
Exactly
that sounds crazy. Well, he had quite a reception out in Iowa. I mean, he had a fiery speech. It was quite a beginning. He is the most unconventional candidate we have seen, well, I guess since about 4 years ago.
Cannot wait to hear what he has to say on the show. John, thank you. And a reminder, everyone, John has a big show this morning. He's going to go one-on-one with counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. Plus, as he just said, Avenatti discusses that potential 2020 White House run that's coming up on This Week right here on ABC.